Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Brachah HaKodash. Double honors due to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and safety to the Lord's elect. All right. This is Yeshaya. And this, lesson is going to be titled The Rejected Are the Elected. Okay. Because the rejected of this world, okay, once you come into this faith, all right, and you put off that old man, you literally become part of the body of Yahweh Shai, which means that you take on certain things, characteristics, trials and tribulations that Yahweh Shai actually went through. Okay, and that's a big deal. That sometimes us brothers overlook. All right, because sometimes you'll be in the flesh, and then you'll wonder why did this happen to me, or why this person did that, and why did you might lose your job, people might conspire against you, family just might trip on you. All right, talk bad about you. Hey, it's because you're in the faith, man. And it said the scriptures say, marvel not if the world hate thee because they hated Yahweh first. So this is Matthew 20 and 16. So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many are called, but few chosen. So the elect, okay, they are a small number. The scriptures speak of the elect as a remnant, all right? And that's a very small number. Okay, when you look at the whole grand scheme of things, you have the Israelites, all right, billions of Israelites, not just, aesthetically blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, but you have Israelites. We're mingled in within all of these nations. So with that, okay, you have to, you know, um, just think like it's billions of Israelites. Like the scriptures say that we're a number that's the sand of the sea. So no person can count every granule of sand, you know, specifically, but the Lord knows, exactly how many. He knows even the number of our hairs. I mean, that our hairs are numbered, right? The number of our hairs are taken care, counted for by Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So, going into the book of Matthew, chapter 19 and verse 14. But Yahushua says, "Suffer little children and forbid them not to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom of heaven." All right, so the little children, okay, those little children are talking about his elect, okay, the men that are doing the will of his uh yeah, the will of the Father and the Son, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, those are the little children. Like when Yahweh Shai placed that child on his lap, okay, that's representative of us, being his little ones. Okay, uh, let me skip down to verse 30. But many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Now let's read that in NLT. But many who are the greatest now will be least important then, and those who seem least important now will be the greatest then. So yeah, once you put off that cloak of the world, okay, coming into this faith, whenever Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai decides to knock at your door, okay, open up your mind to this truth, you officially start to attach from the world, and it's not a overnight thing. Believe me, it's not an overnight thing. You have to go through trials, you have to go through tribulations, you have to, just as Paul was trying to get the Gentiles, okay, because we were all once Gentiles. What Apostle Paul was trying to get the Gentiles uh to come to Yahweh Shah, but it was a process. Okay, first abstain from unclean meats. Okay. Get circumcised physically. Okay. Abstain from unclean meats. Uh, you know, hey, and put the idols away if you are, dealing with idols. Okay. And then, that was like a starting point, so to say, that ultimately leads you to Yahweh Shah. He didn't force, oh, you got to follow all the laws, statutes, and commandments perfectly, right now. No, and gave him a couple. All right. And was like, hey, you start with that, and then your faith will grow. And then before you know it, hey, you're following your house shop. And that's us. Okay. Uh verse 11. I mean Matthew 11. Yeah, Matthew 11 verse 25. And it reads, at that time, Yahushua answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent, and hast revealed them unto babes. And also, uh, the elect are likened unto babes, because when you think of a nature of a babe or a child, okay, a child is very ready to learn, eager to learn, unless it's a rebellious child, which we know what happens to rebellious children as per the law. But the nature of a child, um normally, okay, is basically, eager to learn, eager to listen. Okay, you beat a child will, forgive you. All right, after a time, you reprimand a child, won't hold a grudge against you. Okay. And with babes, we have to shake off everything that, we've learned in this world. All right. All the customs, all the filth. Okay. And become a new creature and, basically learn over again. Even some of us are, brothers come in their 20s, 30s, sometimes in their 40s, and it's kind of, the more up you are in age, the more harder it is to actually try to shake off all the things that you have been accustomed to in this world. Okay, that's why the scriptures talk about old wine bottles. Okay, so it's very rare, man, I mean, I've seen it. We have older men that came in older and were very humble and put themselves on the level of babes, listening to men that are younger than them, all right, that are over them in the spirit. Okay. So, hey, if you're a part of the elect, you're gonna humble down anyway. All right. But the wise and prudent of this world, the people that are part of this world, okay, you got, scientists, doctors, and even low level, just Jake. All right. They're wise in this world. They know how to what? Damn, cook crack, fucking set up a robbery, all type of wickedness. Okay, they're wise in their own, wickedness. All right, wise of this world. Okay, but they, are not wise in the words of Yahweh Yahweh Shah. Okay. So this again, at that time Yahweh Shah answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent, and hast revealed them unto babes. Even so, Father, for it seemed good in thy sight. All right. So man, there you go. The elect, all right, are gonna be rejected on this side. I mean, you're gonna lose so much coming into this truth, but if you stay humble and stay down, the Lord will, bless you. Okay, with the first and foremost, the Hakwadash, the Holy Spirit, but He also take care of you, in your matters. Okay, your daily bread. All right. Psalms 138 and 6. Though the Lord be high, yet hath he respect unto the lowly, but the proud he knoweth afar off. So a lot of these people, they're proud. Okay, just the fact that you don't acknowledge Yahweh while Yahweh Shah, and you rather, give his glory and praise Cesare Borgia or white Jesus, you know, that's proud as hell. Okay, after all the things the Lord did for us, the Exodus, uh the covenant between Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, sending his son to die on the cross and shed his wonderful blood, all right, to redeem us back to the Lord, and then rising Yahushua on the third day, resurrecting him unto everlasting life as a sign of us being risen. Come on, man. It's just so many things that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua has done for us, and for you to even be ignorant of Yahweh Yahweh Shai as being proud in a sense. All right, the Lord doesn't appreciate wickedness. It's so much technology, so much information out here now. You should not be stumbling between what's the names of the Lord, who the Lord is, who the people of the Lord is not an excuse at this point, man. Okay. So, uh moving on, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 3, and said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. And like I said, what's the nature of a little child? Okay. Salaki, let me start at the top. Matthew 18 and 1. At the same time came the disciples unto Yahushua, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Yahushua answered a little child unto him, called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. And that's what the process we all went through, shaking off. Some brothers went to college, some brothers got doctorate degrees, some brothers got their own business, some brothers did a lot of things in this world. But once you came into the truth, you have to shake that shit off and, basically become a babe. Okay. Of course, you still, probably still working your job or doing what you do, but that's on the back burner. Okay. You have to really humble down and be like, damn, I was duped. I was tricked. I was bamboozled all this time. All right. But now I can start building up in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua from ground level. You know? And that's what, and that's the nature of a child. Look how Yahushua called that child unto him. A grown ass nigga would be like, hey, what you want? For what? Like what? What you want? What you want, Yahushua? Some stupid shit. But that child came right to him. All right. Sat on his lap, or was in the midst of them, and bam. No questions asked. All right. And that's how we follow Yahushua. The Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Um, and I said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And who shall receive one, Salakia, and whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. Okay, so there you go. I'm gonna read verse 6. But whosoever shall offend one of these little ones, that Salakia. But whosoever shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that believe, that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he would drown into the depth of the sea. Now let's look at this. Matthew 18 and 6. But if you cause one of these little ones who trust in me to fall into sin, it will be better for you to have a large a millstone tied around your neck and be drowned in the depths of the sea. So, offenses are going to happen. Okay. It ain't like a brother ain't never been offended. This is talking about people of the world, especially Esau, Edom, but people of the world that, hate the prophets, okay, that bring up false accusations on them, this and that, okay. So this is what this is talking about. It's not talking about offending a brother, all right, because if you offend a brother, there's ways to bounce back from that. Okay, he says if you offend a brother and the brother acknowledges the offense and then he repents, you forgive him. Okay, 70 times 7, right? Verse 7. Woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come. But woe to the man whom the offense cometh. And this is that same thing. In the NLT, it reads, what sorrow awaits the world? Because it tempts people to sin. Temptations are inevitable, but what sorrow awaits the person who does the tempting? And who is the tempter? Okay. Esau Edom. All right. So, hey, Esau Edom has it in for him, man, because of what they've done to the Lord's little ones. All right. And you people too. Matthew 5 and 11. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my name's sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So there you go. All right. Hey, persecution is coming, insurrection is coming. Um, yeah, and these people, they're gonna I don't there's many ways they can do it. All right, they got the AI. They can make it look like brothers did things that they didn't do. Okay, there's all types of ways that they're gonna the accuser of the brethren, okay, is gonna operate. But what does it say? He shall be cast down. All right. So yeah, man, hey, we're coming into those times. All right. We're actually in them, but when it ramps up, when it's up, it's gonna be stuck. 1 John 4 and 1, beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of the Most High, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Hereby know that ye the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, every spirit that confesses that Yahushua Mashiach is come in the flesh is of Yahweh, God. And every spirit that confesses not that Yahushua Hamashiach is come into the flesh is not of the Most High. And this is the spirit of Antichrist, whereof ye heard that it should come, and even now already is in the world. Ye are of God, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. They are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world heareth them. So, once you detach from this world, it's a spiritual thing. All right. And the interactions that you once had with people are going to change, because the spirit of Yahweh Shai is going to rest upon you. Okay. People might look at you crazy, job scene, they might talk shit about you, might say you musty. you know, might say just look at you crazy and just talk all type of shit about you. You don't know how to dress right. Oh, he thinks he's better. I mean, it can be anything. All right, and that's just like light shit. But it's gonna come a time where they're gonna actually trump up false accusations, where you can basically lose your life. So this is what we're equipped. All right, and that's why this faith is so important, and locking into the spirit, because hey, these days are approaching us. These days are here. You know, and we can't get trumped up, or not trumped up. We can't get messed up about um certain things when they happen, you know, and we've been reading about them. All right, persecution, don't cast some of us into jail, prison, you laying on the guillotine. All right, you can't get offended in the gospel, because this is he told us this before. So it's like signing a contract and not reading the fine print, or not reading the contract at all. You just glanced over it. All right, cool. But then when something happens that is stated in the contract, you're like, oh wait, hold on, I didn't sign up for this. Yes, you did. You just didn't know. You just didn't read the fine print. You didn't take account. You didn't account the cost. All right. Um, Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of Hamashiach. I mean, love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of the Most High, and knoweth Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Uh, yeah, I think that. Yeah. Now let me get one more. I think I quoted it. Let me see. Marvel not. Yeah. First John 3 and 13. Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hates you. We know that we have passed from death unto life, because we love the brethren. He that loveth not his brother abideth in death. Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer, and ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him. Okay. So this is going into the brotherhood, but that first part it says, Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hates you. Okay, it hated Yahweh shot first, you know. So, hey, things are gonna happen. All right, your cousin might come up against you. Your grandma might come up against you. Your auntie might come up against you. Your mom and your father. Your mom and your dad. I mean, especially in this truth. Brothers been through a lot of things. Okay, with their families and everything like that. All right, just from coming into this truth. All right, and you can't get offended in it, just because they are your worldly family, and you can be the coolest guy in the world, the coolest person in the world, and get along amicably with everybody. But Yahweh Shai, once you step into that realm of serving Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, it's gonna change, man. All right, and it might hurt certain brothers, because certain brothers value themselves off of their relationships with certain people in the world, and then it just changes. And I ain't even talking about just right away. Hey, it could be, things are going on now, and you might have been cool with a family member, or a certain person, and they're attributing the hardships that's coming to you, because you were speaking to this through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, and they're gonna look at you crazy. And this is the reality of the situation, man. All right. So hey, I got one more. This is Wisdom of Solomon, uh chapter 3, and verse, let me see. Yeah. Verse 10, but the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imaginations, which have neglected the righteous, and forsaken the Lord. So there you go. You neglected, all right, the righteous. All right, you neglected, how about Shem Yahushua, his saints, the men, all right, that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. Okay, and therefore, you have forsaken the Lord because the Lord, there's ways to get to the Lord. There's levels. Okay, you can't get to Yahweh without Yahushua. You can't get to Yahweh Shem Yahushua without the prophets, his men. Okay, point blank, period. The Lord speaks through his prophets. So you neglect the righteous, all right, forsaking the Lord, you know, and the rejected or the neglected are the elected. So yeah, I'm gonna end it with that. Oh, verse 9, I am tripping. Wisdom of Solomon, uh, chapter 3, verse 9. They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, and such as be faithful in love shall abide with him. For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he have care for his elect. So there you go. That's the neglected, all right, the righteous, the elect. So Lord willing, I was edifying. Want to give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders, a great millstone, and peace, blessings, safety to the Lord's elect. Shalom.